Lots of feedback, Chase, on our travel stories, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Some guy in the elevator yesterday was like, hey, big fan of the show. By the way, I travel a lot more like Chase than you. I said, oh, well, then
I feel like most people sided with me on this.
1,000%. 1,000%. I was well
came
aware.
off like too big of a travel princess.
Yeah, oh, totally. So high maintenance diva. You know me. Very demure, very cutesy.
Don't ever say that again.
Welcome into Scoop City. I'm the athletic senior NFL insider, Dianna Rossini.
And I'm Chase Daniel, played 14 years in the National Football League.
Well, we are wrapping up the preseason. It is the end of summer. Regular season is in sight. I know this is a big fantasy football draft weekend. Make sure you get your Athletic Fantasy Football magazine. Chase, did you know we had a fantasy football magazine?
I did know that we have a fantasy football magazine, and it's the only magazine that's made me actually want to play fantasy because I've never played fantasy in my entire life. It's amazing. I went through it earlier, but I've never played fantasy. Do you play fantasy at all?
I do. I'm on about 10 leagues, and I don't.
What? Wait.
Yeah.
You're on 10? You're in 10 leagues?
I have a hard time saying no, and a lot of people ask me, like family, friends, some people in the media.
Like a fan league?
No.
I'd join it if you put it out there.
Oh, like a family? I said family and friends, but I guess they're
fan.
Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe we should do one. Okay.
Startup idea.
Startup, here we hear another scoop in Scoop City. So, look, the fake teams, we'll call them, are drafting. They're putting together their rosters, but the real teams are also doing it, right? Over the next few days, you're going to see teams trying to figure out how they're going to get down to 53. They're putting together their practice squads. Tuesday, officially cut day. That's August 27th. Have you ever been cut before?
Yes, a lot. My rookie year. Specifically, Dianna, there was some shady stuff going on back with the Saints. I was cut so many times. I was on practice squad my first 2 years as a rookie, my first two games. And then I was on active roster for 10 weeks. And then because we had injuries, they had to cut me at least 15 different times in the last 6 weeks of the season. There were even times I was cut from the practice squad. But they're like, hey, just stay in your hotel, do some work just in case, and then we'll bring you back, we promise. And then I finally made the playoff roster. It was awful.
But at this time of the year, of the season, when players are getting cut, how does it happen? Is it like how we see in Hard Knocks where you get called in? Is it a text message? Is it a phone call?
It's the Grim Reaper. It's the Grim Reaper. That's what we call them. That's what we call it. There's one person in the entire locker room, and that works for the staff. I'm not sure the title. It can be different people. But if you see the Grim Reaper lurking around your locker in the locker room, run and run away fast. Everywhere I've ever been, people hate the Grim Reaper. It's probably the worst person to be able to do that in an organization. But yeah, it is a thing where they call you. Well, it depends. It's a thing where they call you in and like, hey, bring your playbook, which is now on iPad. They don't have actual like playbooks. Bring your iPad in. And you got to come sit down. Most of the time, you talk to the head coach and GM, and it's just like, hey, like we want to keep. They say the same thing to everyone. Hey, we want to keep you, but we just can't. Like, hopefully, at that point, for these undrafted guys they're trying to make a team, or the guys that get cut, a lot of these guys will get picked up by other teams. But the whole thing about getting cut in this league is just trying to make a practice squad. Right, 16 guys, that's just be on a team. It doesn't matter if you're on the team you got cut by. It doesn't matter. Just try to be on a practice squad. And that's how I got my start, really, is like, hey, just get noticed. A practice squad player means you're going against the ones. You're going against the twos, trying to get them ready for the game. So that's my big thing is like just try to make a practice squad.
So your point is to get on the practice squad so the team that you're on the practice squad for sees you in action and then maybe says, oh, let's elevate this guy.
Or if
maybe
somebody gets hurt.
You as a trait. Oh, that too, but maybe
or if somebody gets hurt.
Okay. All right, no, that makes all sense.
That's mainly it.
Guess who's not going to get cut? Packers quarterback Jordan Love. He joins Scoop City, and man, this guy is just hoping that this Packers team rides the momentum of an incredible end to their season last year. 10 wins he was able to put together and really had one of the best seasons as a quarterback in terms of the second half. And he
the last
obviously
10 games
stood
of the
out.
year were insane.
And what an offseason. I mean, He gets engaged. He becomes the highest paid player in football. And we talk all about that, how it's changed his life and what this Packers offense is going to look like this year now that Jordan truly is the guy in Green Bay. But let's get to it. Here's what I'm hearing around the league. All right, Chase, so a lot of tough decisions are being made right now. We know GMs are all calling each other. Coaches are texting one another, trying to see who's got maybe, perhaps the gem on the roster that another team is looking for. Teams are trying to maybe get some draft compensation through trades. We know teams like the Cleveland Browns, for example, right? They've got 4 quarterbacks on their roster. We know there's going to be a team probably calling Andrew Berry going, hey, we need a backup. We need somebody in our building right now. Injuries are going to most likely happen. So we're at that time of year where it's a little chaotic around the league, but truly the story headed into the regular season here is the fact that we have such big name players with contracts that aren't done. And, covering this, sometimes it's difficult to figure out when the busiest time of year is. But I've never felt that this time of year has been the busiest in terms of star players and contracts. This has got to be one of the biggest summers in terms of deals that aren't getting done. How do you see it?
Well, I mean, look, it is. You look at like Trent Williams, you look at Brandon Aiyuk, you look at the Cowboys trio, you look at Jamar Chase, all these guys, they're not just like middle tier level guys, Diana. They're top tier talent. And so I haven't remembered a time, even since I was playing, that players felt like they had more say in their contract negotiations. So far it is happening to where these players are willing to sit out of practice. And they're willing to put their name out on social media. You saw CeeDee Lamb say LOL with a period to the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. Social media is giving these players a platform and these fans a platform to then go ahead and go and bitch to the owners. Why aren't you signing this guy? Why aren't you doing this? Oh, did you see Trent Williams? Did you see Brandon Aiyuk? They scrubbed social media. I'm not saying they did, but that's like the new found like thing about these guys. And it's interesting because most of these guys have agents. So you got to imagine when these agents and these players are talking, these agents are in these players' ears. You need to do this publicly. And that's where it can get a little bit out of hand. Like, I don't like to see contract negotiations play out in the media. I think it's dumb. I think your agent should handle it behind closed doors. But unfortunately, that's what these agents really feel like,
because it
is
works.
Moving
That's
the needle.
why.
Moving the needle.
Works, right?
Yes.
Because then you get the public backing, the public support, and then you get all the different media outlets, shows like ours, calling out owners. You got to sign him up. Hey, Jerry, how do you think you're going to make it to the playoffs without a guy like CeeDee Lamb? And, we spoke to Justin Jefferson a few weeks ago about his contract negotiation, and he shared with us that they purposely kept theirs quiet, that they didn't want to make it a public negotiation on purpose. I also think Justin Jefferson's approach to all this was, at the end of the day, he knew he was going to break the bank. He knew that he was going to become the highest paid player that is a non-quarterback. So his approach was probably a little different than a guy like CeeDee Lamb right now, who's trying to get to those numbers. Yet here we are, and it's still not done. So why don't we rip through all the big names starting in San Francisco?
Yeah, what do you know about Brandon Aiyuk and Trent Williams? They're super banged up. It's been a horrible summer, in my opinion, for the 49ers. Where are we at with those two?
Yeah, right. So you got a hold in and a hold out, right? You have Brandon Aiyuk with the hold in, and you have Trent Williams, the veteran, with a hold out. I feel better about the Trent Williams situation right now at this point. Both sides seem to be sharing openly as well that this thing is getting closer. And you and I have had this conversation on the show before. The San Francisco 49ers don't have a choice in this. They have to get Trent Williams done.
He's their stud.
He's their stud. He's the personality of the team. He's the heart of the team. He leads them out of the tunnel. And, Trent looked around the league and he saw that Laramie Tunsil, Christian Darrisaw, Andrew Thomas, Tristan Wirfs, they're making more money than him. And he's sitting there going, 11-time All-Pro.
He's a better player.
I need to make more money than that. So I feel like that's going to get done. He'll be there soon. He's obviously missed a lot of camp. Where the Brandon Aiyuk story is it will go down as one of the more memorable summer contract situations because it's been so public, because it involves so many different teams, because there were so many different reports on it, because it feels like it's been going on for a really long time. It's been only about, technically 30, 32 days since
Seems
we
like
really
double that.
started to aggressively go after, but I feel like we've been talking about this for 2 years. So going back, they made an offer to him in around the springtime for that $26 million. And now here we are, and it's hovering over $30 million. The San Francisco's offer on the table.
Their offer is, so what is Aiyuk wants top money? What's going to get Aiyuk to actually sign the deal? Do you know the number?
It's got to be the guaranteed money. What do we always talk about, right? It's looking like a 4-year deal.
4 year. Mm-hmm. That's long. I feel like that's long.
And
wow.
They both pretty much have their feet in the sand here, not wanting to move and give on a few items that are left here.
So we know where the 49ers are. They feel like they're close to getting it done. Is Pittsburgh still a team I should be worried about or excited about getting Brandon Aiyuk?
I still think there's always a chance. The offer's still on the table. The trade is essentially done in terms of the structure of it, what it would look like. It's just, will the Niners be willing to deal Brandon Aiyuk, and will Brandon Aiyuk want to go to Pittsburgh? So
yeah, who does Pittsburgh have? They want a player. San Francisco wants a player if they're going to deal him. Who does Pittsburgh have that they would want? They don't
have anyone.
Anyone.
They don't have anyone that Pittsburgh's willing to give up, and that's really been the big problem in all of this. Is Kyle Shanahan wants a receiver. He really wants to get another playmaker on his team. We know the type of success this offense has with Brandon Aiyuk. They want to find a replacement there. And then you have the fact that the 49ers are also dealing with the other part of this is big picture with one of the oldest rosters, right? They've got 18 players over 30 years old.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's actually, easily the most in the league. It's not even close.
Right. And we looked this up actually because we were discussing, all right, so let's say Pittsburgh's able to get this done. Let's just say Brandon Aiyuk leaves and Kyle doesn't get his receiver. How often does a team win the Super Bowl because of their top of market receiver? Well, Kansas City won the past 2 Super Bowls after trading away the league's most productive receiver in Tyreek Hill. But look, they are aware that they need to fill this hole if they were to lose Brandon Aiyuk.
They can't wait. They can't wait much longer.
No.
The dude's going to be out of football shape.
Correct. And that's something I think we all need to keep in mind while we're ripping through some of these. It does not matter how old, how much experience you have, how young you are, how good of a player you are. You need to practice before the game. You can't just run out there week 1 and play. And the next week or so is going to tell you a lot about the situations with these deals because practice starts next week. Preseason's over. Teams are preparing
You'll
for
get a good
week
10
1.
days. And I think with Trent Williams, Diana, I almost get the feeling, it's definitely about the money, but when you're 35, 36 years old and you played so long and you're an 11-time Pro Bowler, there's just something about training camp that sucks. Like, you just don't want to be there. Like, you're just going to go out. Like, I have no issue whatsoever with Trent Williams being a holdout, not being with the team, because the second he steps back in that locker room, like, he's their leader. And he's going to be able to play the position of offensive line without having to get into receiver shape. And that's what takes me to Brandon Aiyuk. I'm telling you, these guys run all the time. There's a difference between running in full pads every day and running some sprints on the side like we've seen Brandon Aiyuk do. So my thought, and it's just, I just don't think they can wait much longer. Because if you wait any longer, specifically for the receiver part of this, it's going to take them 6 games, 6 real football games to get into football shape. That's a third of the season almost. The third season's gone. And so I just don't know what kind of effort and what kind of production, that's the word I want, production they're going to get out of them.
And in their own building, they know that this could slow them down. Nick Bosa last year admitted that he started the season slower than he expected. And he was working out like a maniac at the facility when he was away from San Francisco. Deebo Samuel as well didn't have a great season the year that he missed camp. So it's a bad pattern that it's going to probably happen again here. If San Francisco was able to get Brandon Aiyuk, they want to get him in the building as soon as possible. John Lynch has said there is urgency. They're trying to get this done. So we will see. In terms of this being sooner or later, I think for Aiyuk, I think this is going to happen. I think for Trent Williams, I think this is going to happen at this point. But
so you're saying sooner for both. I was going to say, let's play a game sooner or later. So you're saying sooner for both.
I'm going to go sooner for both. I think these are going to get done before
Let's go down to Dallas, baby. The Dallas Cowboys, the trio of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. When are these deals getting done?
I almost feel like I should stack them in the order, right? So I would go CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb feels like the deal that they've been working hardest on and trying to just get this thing in gear, get close, and they're getting close. And
do you have a range of number?
Right around Justin Jefferson. So
wow,
he's getting
good
a really
for
good
him.
payday. So you have both sides optimistic about this, working hard to get it done. And then you have Dak Prescott. I don't know if Jerry Jones is playing games right now, but he is not behaving as an owner right now that
he's playing games.
Feels that Dak is going to get locked up week 1, and he's trying to send a message to the media that he's okay with it. I obviously don't have any concerns about Dak not playing or sitting out.
Is there a situation, though, Diana? Is there a situation where Dak just gets completely fed up, goes, plays, balls out, and leaves the Cowboys?
Absolutely, that's an option on the table. There is a world where Dak Prescott's contract doesn't get done this year, and he is no longer a Dallas Cowboy, and he hits free agency, and he makes a gazillion dollars. That is 100% an option. And
Dallas does not have a backup plan. They don't have a backup plan.
For right now, it's not Trey Lance.
No.
So, look, when I brought that topic up to people that are involved and people know about the situation there in Dallas, they all push it aside almost as if, no, well, that's not going to happen. Like, this deal's going to get done. But until it's final.
You don't know what the player's thinking. You don't know what the player's thinking.
You don't. What if maybe Dak is going, I'm kind of over the charade of having to be the guy, be the leader, play well, and yet they never want to fully commit. They always are dragging this out.
He's saying, show me the money.
He is saying, show me the money. And so
is
Micah Parsons. Micah's the one I'm going to say later. I don't think this is front of mind for them right now. There is no rush, but also this is one of those where I could see next year, you and I are going to be talking about this on the show, and it gets dicey.
It gets more expensive the longer you wait, is all I'm saying.
Jerry Jones obviously does not care about that. Look at his history. There
is a salary cap. And
there is,
it's continuing to go up. And it's like, I go back, and I'm going to let you finish your thought. I just want to get this in because this is a fascinating conversation to me. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and we're talking about 3 players that are going to be making at the top or near the top of their prospective position salaries. Like, I just don't know how you fit a team around those 3 if you're paying them all top tier money.
That's part of the issue. Remember when Stephen Jones was on the show? He said that.
Yeah.
He was very open with us about how difficult the balance of their salary is going to be and how expensive. Granted, they were crying poor a little bit.
Come on.
Which
you're the Cowboys. You're worth $10 billion. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So I'll go with CeeDee Lamb. I'll go sooner. With Dak, I'll go sooner. And with Micah Parsons, I'll go later.
Dak sooner.
Sooner's like
season? During the season?
It's close. It's early season. I'll say that.
Okay. I love that.
That would be my guess how this is all going to fall together.
Let's go on to the Cincinnati Bengals. And it's the least talked about situation right now with Jamar Chase. But it's the weirdest and strangest situation to me. What's going on there?
Well, why do you think it's so weird?
Because no one's talked about it. He hasn't practiced. He's held in. He's not very social about it. They're not out in the media. I just know nothing about it.
No,
and he's one of the top 2-3 receivers in the league.
Yeah, they are keeping it really quiet. Both sides are. But I did a little digging for you.
Let's go.
Look, I think this is one of those scenarios where you go back to owner Mike Brown a few months ago, spoke at a Bengals luncheon, and he said a couple things about his approach to Jamar Chase. And I feel like a lot of different people took it different ways. And I reached out to some people in the building to get their thoughts of how did you hear the owner in terms of Ja'Marr? And I've had more people say they want to get this done than the other side of it of they want to wait. Because Mike Brown said, this isn't the right time to do these kind of deals. There's a time and a place for this. So most people took that as, they're not gonna touch Ja'Marr Chase's deal. Now they're not gonna work on it. Well, they are. They're negotiating right now. Like the Cincinnati Bengals and Ja'Marr Chase's camp, they're negotiating. They're in the process of this. It's are they going to be able to agree? And this has potential to be electric over the next week, because what we need to do is, as we were talking before about Aiyuk, is when will Ja'Marr Chase be on the field? Is he going to be on the practice field? Because they are not going to want to just roll him out. They're going to want him throwing with Joe Burrow at some point here. And you have to assume once he gets back in the mix here, is he going to go the route that we've seen other players do, which is an earache, a back spasm, a sore ankle.
Something, yeah.
Excuses.
When you're building these guys up. For sure.
Correct. So we'll see how this comes together, but I can tell you that they're trying to lock this up.
So let's play a game. Let's play a game. And this isn't a rundown, but I think it's fascinating. Who is going to make more money in their next contract? CeeDee Lamb or Ja'Marr Chase? Because I think, without a doubt, it should be Ja'Marr Chase.
Yeah, I think Ja'Marr Chase is going to make more money than CeeDee Lamb. I think that's how that will shake out.
Love that.
I also think CeeDee Lamb's going to get done first, so that's also going to be beneficial. But
you got to imagine too, though, Diana, with the Bengals, it's a different scenario, because I remember when I was a player, I never wanted to really go to Cincy. I loved the team, loved the coach. They were just sort of, I hate to use the word cheap, because a total contract's not cheap, but they have a really hard time putting guaranteed money where it should be in contracts. So the guaranteed money was never there. I'm sure that has got to be a sticking point in this conversation with Ja'Marr Chase. The Joe Burrow was like the first deal they did that was like over 40% guarantee or something crazy. So these owners, specifically Mike Brown, they don't want to put this money in escrow, aka the funding rule. For all you new listeners out there, we've talked about it before. The funding rule specifically states that an owner once agreed to a contract with a player. If that contract has $100 million guaranteed, $100 million has to go out of the owner's bank account into an escrow account for the player, and it will be paid out the length of the contract. That is an issue with owners, specifically Mike Brown.
So when you had opportunities to join teams, did you keep that in mind of the way the Cincinnati Bengals do business?
Yeah, I think for me it was, one, I wanted to go to a team that wanted me and that I could sometimes compete for the starter job, but that never really happened. But also, it ended up being best situation with coaches and then money. That was mine, like best situation with coaches and then money, because people don't understand, most guys are retired at 25.5 years old in this league. So you got to get money when you can.
Well, it appears money is the biggest storyline as we get ready to kick off the season in just a few weeks here. Chase, I want to mention to you that the Athletics Bears podcast, you know that?
Hogan Johns.
Yes, they talked to Chicago Bears GM Ryan Poles this week. So make sure you check that out. We're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, a man who probably gives Poles nightmares when he goes to sleep at night, Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love, the most expensive man in football right now, joins Scoop City next. Welcome back to Scoop City. You know, the last 10 starts last season, Packer Jordan Love was the best quarterback in football. He has a talented, offensive-minded head coach. He's got these young receivers. He's also the highest paid player in football. Here's our conversation with Jordan Love.
Have you set a date for your wedding?
Yeah.
You did?
June 22nd.
June 22nd. How long did you spend looking at venues and stuff like that?
She was handling all that.
Yeah.
I was in camp, so
Yeah.
there's not much time for me to be
You just agreed. You become the NFL's highest paid player. The first thought when you got word it's done.
Yeah, it was a lot of excitement. A lot of just, it's a blessing. I was grateful for it, and like I said, I'm just excited to be able to get back on the field. Hadn't been practicing, so to be able to get back on the field, my guys, it was huge, but definitely a blessing. Something that my agents and the team, they put a lot of work into, so it's a blessing.
How many calls and texts you get when you sign a big deal? I've always wondered that.
Too many. It was crazy.
Do you want to turn?
Did you respond to all of them?
No, not even close. I couldn't. I mean, you got to think we were in training camp, so we're in the facility all day. Phone's just blowing up. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb for the most part when I'm in the facility, so I
can't be having a meeting.
Yeah, so I'd look through it later, and it's just.
How many? What was the number?
I don't know. Because I don't know what I was already at.
Yeah, so it's
unread.
You're an unread message guy?
Yeah. I probably have like 500 in there right now.
I'm glad you responded back. So
Did I?
I made the list. Yeah.
Okay.
A couple.
You responded.
No. And when I say it was blowing up, that there was nothing I could do. I had to pick and choose a couple people to respond to, but couldn't respond to everybody.
You were out in San Diego this past year because your now fiance, I was saying girlfriend at the time, is a professional volleyball player down there in San Diego. So I got a chance to work out with you a couple times, and just watching you work out, there seemed to be a fire in your eyes, like unknown to man. It was really impressive. It truly, like working out, every little thing you did was detailed. Where does that come from, man? Like, was it just this offseason knowing you had a lot of responsibility from the past season?
No, I mean, I think that's always part of me is trying to work and get better. Trying to improve on myself, and that comes with those off-season workouts, grinding, trying to get my body back right. Coming off a little bit of a break, so just trying to push myself, get my body right, and be ready for when I show up for OTAs. But we got some great sessions in out there, some great workouts, some basketball games in. He hit a fadeaway on me.
No, I'm not good.
He hit a fadeaway on me. Yeah, no,
it was fun. So what is the couple things, and I want to ask this to everyone that we're interviewing. What are a couple things you're particularly working on at the quarterback position to go from last year, your success, to being the highest paid player? I know for a fact you're driven. What are the few specifics?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is all pre-snap. Obviously we do a lot of film study and throughout the week, and then once you get out there in the game, trying to be able to pick up what the defense is doing, pick up their disguises, and there's a couple instances last year where I felt like I saw something coming, didn't make a call, and just didn't trust myself, and then here comes the blitz, and now I'm hot. So just being able to see stuff pre-snap, make a decision on protection adjustments, things like that, route changes I got to make, and then understand, if they disguise it and drop out and I guess wrong, where I need to go with the ball. So just consistency in that.
Do you have full control at the line of scrimmage this year?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So that is awesome. Yeah. And it helps. We practice that. We go through 2-minute drill practice. I'm calling plays, things like that. So it helps me just be able to process information quicker, I feel like.
And it makes it go faster too.
Yes.
Right? By giving me that power.
No doubt.
Yes. Just going back to the year you were drafted, the COVID year, right? Which I can't remember that time. I feel like COVID happened. I'm like, where was I? What was I doing? You clearly remember what you were doing, right? And so it's like you have the whole world talking about the situation the Packers have themselves in, right? You got Aaron Rodgers, got the MVP, the superstar, future Hall of Famer, and the Packers organization decides to go after you. What was it like to be the guy that everyone was talking about going, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What was that like for you? What to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. Obviously, it was a blessing again to be able to get drafted first round to the Packers. Forever grateful for that. But obviously, right when I got that call, I knew who was there. I knew I wasn't going to come in and be starting right away. It was going to be one of those situations, come in, learn from him, and try and soak up as much knowledge as I can, and just work on my game and behind him and try and improve myself. But there was a lot of talk out there, a lot of different things that were said, and I kind of just try to block all that stuff out and just focus on myself and enjoy this opportunity that I have and be able to learn from one of the best to do it.
Yeah.
And watch him every day.
In the same regard, right? So he gets criticized so much, especially now. Everyone is picking at him and trying to figure him out. Yet whenever I talk to players, teammates of his, it's just nothing but how great he is. What makes Aaron Rodgers such a good teammate?
Yeah, I think he's awesome. I think he first of all, he's a very hard worker. He demands a lot of his teammates, but at the same time, he likes to have fun. We have a lot of great times at the facility. He's always joking, having fun with the guys, and he's just one of the guys.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of players, you come into the league, you obviously know who Aaron Rodgers is. You've watched him, so you already have a lot of respect for him, and then you get to meet him as a person. I think it just builds. But yeah, I think he definitely. Might be misunderstood in the media. People say a lot of different things, but a lot of people don't know him at the same time.
Did he text you after you got that deal?
He did, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you read it?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I didn't go and read like mine and yours.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, what was that like to you personally, though? Like, take us inside your mindset, knowing that Aaron Rodgers was there and you had to sit, did you think you were ready to start? Did you enjoy sitting and learning? What was your mind like?
Yeah, definitely. You know, when I went into the draft, getting ready for the NFL, all that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm confident. I get to Green Bay, and you know, those first couple of days, you just get to see Aaron work, see the things he's doing in practice. You're like, all right, well, I'm not even close to there. Like, I'm definitely not there. So it was definitely like an eye-opening experience for me to just see him work, see the confidence he has in the balls he throws, and just the control he has of the offense. So just to be able to pick up those pieces, but it definitely was an eye-opening experience and showed me how much more I got to keep working. So
specifically with your footwork, because you both have that hop where you're off the ground, and Favre had it, Rodgers had it. What is being taught in that room? You guys look like the identical clone.
Yeah.
Because your throwing motion was not like that when you came out.
I would say that's just a lot of me sitting there watching Aaron. You know, watching him and his footwork and the way he's able to, you know, be off platform, be facing this way, and complete passes going the other way. And just watching him and kind of just seeing it. And now I get into the field and my muscle memory is just starting to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, do you think you look like the Packers quarterbacks of the past? Because you do.
I've seen some pictures of it. I definitely it's one of those things that, you know, my game changed once I got here and saw him doing it, and I started adding that. You know, it's one thing you don't try and do all the time, but there's certain situations in the pocket where you just can't get your feet to the receiver, and you got to do that.
Yeah.
Do you think if I pulled up tape right now of you just your rookie year in practice and showed it to you now, I mean, who's that guy compared to who this guy is now?
Yeah.
Would you dread looking at that?
Yeah, I would for sure. My mind was spinning my rookie year, just trying to learn the offense and take control of that. And I don't even remember seeing the defense my rookie year. I was just my mind is spinning. What's going on?
Let me throw it to one guy.
Yeah, I need to watch that film and see.
Just appreciate, right?
How far it came for sure.
So now the Jordan Love of present compared to who that guy is now. Who are you now?
You know, I'm the same person, but, you know, definitely someone who's worked and grown a lot as a player, understand the system now, understand where I need to go, got my footwork better, and just, you know, took a lot of strides and building every day on the little small details. So, I mean, I'm the same person, but obviously a little bit better, I'd say.
How has this year changed compared to last year? Take us inside the locker room. Specifically, last year, no one expected anything of you guys except that team in the locker room. I know how it is. I've been in that locker room. There wasn't a lot of media, fanfare, hype, and you guys went on to surprise a ton of people. Had an amazing year, started 3-3, and you guys were rolling. How does it change inside the locker room this year? Know that you guys are sort of the hunted, and you're not going to surprise anyone.
No, I think, like you said, you know, last year there was a lot of question marks with everybody on our team. We had a lot of young players and guys trying to prove themselves. And now guys kind of made a name for themselves. Teams know what we're about. So, you know, our mindset's definitely elevated. I think as a team in the locker room, obviously that goal is NFC North Championship and Super Bowl. So we set the goals high, and we're trying to show up every day and just be able to go out there and compete to that standard.
How happy are you, though, that you at least got a playoff in your pocket, right? Because you play the Cowboys. You've never even played there. You've never even played at the Cowboys Stadium, and you go there. And I can only imagine the nerves as poised as you can be, knowing you're playing your first playoff game. Really a team that no one expected to be playing, and then you go out there and you win. Obviously, the result against the 49ers eventually doesn't turn out to be the way you can. But now that you have a little bit of that, how much do you think that's going to help you guys?
It'll help us a ton. I mean, I think just for me personally, having that experience now, being in a playoff game, really 2 playoff games, you know, just playing that postseason football, it's a little bit different. And obviously the stakes are what the stakes are. You know, if you lose, you go home. So just having a little bit of more experience under our belt. But, you know, we're excited, obviously, to try and hopefully make it there again.
Take us quickly, before we let you go, take us quickly inside the receiver room.
That was my question.
The floor made headlines. It makes them want to vomit. All this talk about the Packers don't have a number 1 receiver. Break down those guys for me, because me specifically on an outsider, watching them progress through the year last year, I'm sure they're ready to roll this year.
Oh, very, very much so. I mean, I think starting it off, we got Christian and Rome, who, you know, they've been there doing it for a while, since A-Rod was here, and you know, they've been elevating every year. Rome has been playing out of his mind so far in training camp. Christian's been doing a great job as well, but those are 2 kind of different guys. Christian's a speed guy. Rome's kind of the route runner with the hands, but and then we got Wicks and Jay Reed, the young guys who definitely made a name for themselves last year.
All the jet sweep stuff with Reed.
I mean,
it's unbelievable.
Reed's got the crazy speed, the quickness. He's our slot guy, you know. And then Wicks, can put him anywhere. I mean, his routes are getting nastier every time I see him. But the sky's the limit. We got a great group, and like you said, the number one. We're not getting into that. But we
I
got
love
a
that
great
you
group.
avoid it.
We got a
I
great
think
group.
it's smart because it keeps everyone
You got
competing.
5 number ones.
That's what I know what you're doing.
The way you spread
Smart.
the ball around, you have 5 number ones.
Okay, but that said, so our podcast is called Scoop City, and every time someone comes on a show, we like to ask, what's the scoop on your team? So what's something we don't know about the Green Bay Packers that you guys all maybe know, even when you're at dinner at Shanahan's or doing whatever it is that you're doing that, like, yeah, this is what we know about us. Or maybe everyone else doesn't know this about us.
Inside scoop.
Scoop.
Scoop City.
Scoop City. Your favorite podcast, I heard.
I
heard all 10
inside the
episodes
locker
you
room.
listened.
Like a little vibe.
What I got?
The vibe inside the locker room.
We got a great locker room. We got great guys in there. But let's see. I mean,
Oh my gosh, he's smart. He's digging.
training camp mode right now. We do have a ping pong table in the locker room.
Okay.
We added this, so there's been a lot of competition in the locker room with ping pong.
How are you?
I'm not great.
Okay.
Oh.
Look, I thought I was good. I got a ping pong table at home.
Yeah.
Me and Ronica play, and I thought I was good, and then I get in the locker room. I'm getting
So
smoked.
who didn't want the smoke?
Bo Mellon's he's pretty good.
Really?
Specialists are pretty good. Hunters.
I mean-
Michael Pratt.
Yeah.
Other-
Okay.
Of course, the specialists
Too
are
late?
good.
Yeah, specialists are good.
I don't know. We got some really good ping pong players in the locker room.
That's amazing.
We got some really good ping
I
pong
wonder,
players.
what,
in there.
what skill do you think ping pong is? What is that? Just
Eye-hand
coordination?
coordination.
Eye-hand
Eye-hand
coordination.
I would think a
Tennis.
receiver could do it
Tennis.
really well.
Tennis. If you
I, mean, I thought I was good
Tennis.
until I got out there.
All right, Jordan, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing you again during the season.
No doubt. Thank you,
Scoop
guys.
City. You love Scoop City, right?
Scoop City. There we go. You got the
Scream
ping
it.
pong
Scream
scoop.
from the
City.
balance.
Thanks so much to Jordan Love for joining Scoop City. We'll get into more of Jordan Love on Tuesday's show as well as the rest of the quarterbacks across the league as the Athletics' Mike Sando joins us to discuss his infamous quarterback tiers. This is a big deal, Chase. I cannot wait to have Sando on the show to break it all down because what he did was he basically talked to about 50 sources around the league, GMs, coaches, all people that make these decisions to rank these quarterbacks. So he'll join us on the next episode of
I
Scoop
can't wait
City.
to get in
I know.
and tear
I
him
cannot wait.
apart. I'm just gonna. It's gonna be fun.
Chase, I'm so mad that you were not able to make it to New York to check out our Scoop City billboard in the center of Times Square. I know I sent you probably about 900 photos.
I looked at
this
flights, and for a family of 5 to fly cross country was like $5,000. So I decided to say no.
That's totally fair. That
Yeah,
is very
it was
fair.
very
Save your
expensive.
money because you never know when you're going to need it next. But with that in mind, I thought, this is pretty cool. Chase and I've got this billboard up. Our Scoop City team has been working nonstop since we've launched.
They're amazing.
I'm gonna slow up here and appreciate this moment. So I'm gonna grab Kevin, my husband, my boys, and we're just gonna take a little ride into the city. I've never taken my sons into New York City, even though I live 30 minutes away.
Wait, why? Never?
Never. Isn't that weird?
When I lived in Philly, we took our kids up it was an hour 5 drive, and we were in actually Jersey, Haddonfield. It was like an hour 5 drive. We took them like at least 3 or 4 times when we were up there. You never took them?
Well, they're only 3 and 1. They're little guys, and I took my 3-year-old when he was really, really little, but I've never taken both of them.
Yeah,
So
2 is a lot.
I just remember thinking as I drove in because I was meeting Kevin in the city because he works there. I can do this. And then as I got closer into the city and all the traffic and the people, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to go find Kevin on the corner we're going to meet with the stroller, with the kids, all of this, with 2 boys who are staring out the window screaming, bus, truck, ice cream, wheels, people, hi, like waving to it. Just they were out of their minds. They were so excited. So of course we park and bad news, just bad. And so our billboard is a digital video screen. So it's not just a still billboard that I can, you can quickly take a picture and leave. You have to wait for our photo to come up. So waiting with these 2 little guys was a nightmare. Mikey wants to touch the wheel of the bus. Joey's trying to grab a hot dog off the stand. Like literally just, they were everywhere. And our pictures make it look like the stuff I posted on Instagram, like the sweetest moment. Like, look at these little boys, so proud of mommy.
Instagram's a highlight reel.
It was a joke. We were so stressed out, so we wound up grabbing some food with them afterwards. And I guess it was a Tuesday night. Kevin and I both ordered margaritas. We're like, we need to calm down from this because this was awful. So here's my thought. I made a mistake. I didn't think it through. I probably should have asked my mom to come help us a little bit. So I thought, what are the worst places to bring your children? So obviously parents, hopefully that are listening, you're thinking about some answers that you have. If you don't have children, maybe think of places that you go to where people bring their kids and you're like, can you not? Because I was that person a few years ago. And now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm still in your favor. I'm still thinking of it the way you do. So I'm going to hand this off to you first. Give me, we'll kind of snake it. So you go first. So what's your top place you do not want to take kids?
The top place I do not want to take kids is any type of airport. It is just misery. My kids are getting a little bit older now, but with little kids, they, like you said, they want to touch, they want to feel, they want to do all this stuff. But I'm telling you, specifically Denver International Airport, because we've done that a few times, and you know my rant on that.
Denver Airport is going to come after you. This is the second show that you are calling.
Let them.
Okay, I agree. At the airport,
there's
just it's similar to the Times Square situation, right? Because it's just there's so much going on. There's so many people. I'd actually probably argue the airport's harder because you have to get to something and you need to keep them moving.
It's awful.
So security, that's bad news. We haven't flown anywhere with the boys yet because I don't have it in me.
We actually take our kids everywhere. It just is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, you have to really mentally give yourself a pep talk, I would think, in the car or in the morning before you head out. Like, we got this.
And when you do, when you do take your kids on a plane, okay, which I think should be sooner rather than later, because the more they fly, the easier they get. You and your husband, okay, y'all are on the same team. Just remember that when the kids are going crazy, because sometimes I have a hard time remembering that with my wife. But we're on the same team, and now we got it down to a science.
Yes, that is a core part of our household. Is we try to remember that because oftentimes I would like to get traded to another team. I am open for business.
Don't say that.
Trust me, Kev wants to get cut. He doesn't even want to get traded. He's
Yeah,
like,
he's
I want out of this league.
What's your spot?
Church for us
Really?
is tough. My boys don't understand it. They just see, they like the music, so that's good. But obviously church is quiet and it's a place of respect and you're supposed to behave a certain way. And my older son, Mikey, thinks the sound of his voice echoing is funny. So anytime there's a place where he can yell and it echoes, he gets this little grin on his face, like Dennis the Menace, like,
boy.
oh, it echoes. And he just makes these barking Jurassic Park dinosaur sound noises.
You guys not have kids church?
You know, we have a kids area, but we don't have a children's mass at the parish that we go to.
That makes sense. I actually love bringing my kids to church. It's an hour and a half that I don't have to parent.
Where do they go?
And we go to Venture Church here. It is
not specifically where do you go. Where do your children go during church?
Oh, they have they have a youth area. So they have like a breakout classroom. They have like babies. Then they have 2 to 3 year olds, and they have 2 to 4 year olds, 5 to 8 year olds, and then they have like junior high, and then they have high school, and they're all learning about like Jesus, and it is the best thing ever. Like my kids will come out of church that we're at, they will learn more than me at, like, I'm at big church is what they call it. They're at kids church. And I promise you, like, it's awesome. So I like the
All right,
church.
well, add that to the list of reasons why New Jersey is not better than San Diego.
So second one for me, easy. I mean, hot take, maybe, beach. I hate it. Oh, I absolutely hate it.
So
you get sand everywhere. You're in the car. I just get my car clean. They're wet. They're crying. Although I will say my 6.5-year-old, almost 7-year-old Preston, he just got into boogie boarding, and we'll let him go out. Like, we're there watching. We'll let him go out boogie board, and it's the best thing in the world. And our youngest daughter, Ashton, just got to a point where she's not eating sand. So we're in the clear, I think.
Yeah, when you get out of the non-eating sand stage, you're free, because that is the most annoying process in the world. Because I think the mistake we made when we started to take the boys to the Jersey Shore was Kev and I thought we were still attending the beach like we did before kids when we were dating, where you hang out, you have a cocktail, you talk, you put the music on. you're just running around when you have little kids on the beach. You do not sit.
All three of our kids, you just said the date. I think it's funny because all three of our kids are in school at least 3 days a week. Our little one goes 3 days a week. We went on a beach date yesterday, just my wife and I. We both sat and read under an umbrella with the water in our feet and for 2 hours, and we ordered some lunch to the beach, unbothered. It felt like something in life had just been unlocked. It was amazing.
A beach date on a Wednesday.
Yes.
Things that I dream about.
Oh, it was excellent.
No,
my
it's
gosh.
actually really smart. That is something I may steal from you, of just instead of like spending all this money on babysitters for dinner and all that, I think just going to the beach and doing it like we used to. That's a good call. All right, so I've struggled just in stores, Walgreens, ShopRite, where I bring both the boys, just recently, they saw all the balloons, and Walgreens does a nice job of just keeping these balloons in a cage area. And I give the boys the string of the balloon, they take it, and they of course take it to the areas where the cage isn't. So then my children's balloons are now on the ceiling of the store. Then one day Mikey ran into the dry cleaner, ran in the back of the dry cleaner where the steamers are. I'm chasing after him. And the worst part about that was I had just given them jelly donuts. So their fingers had nasty, sticky stuff, and they're running their hands along the clothes. Like I wish I had
jelly
my camera
donuts.
with me.
That's where you went wrong.
The
sugar rush.
We made a decision a few months ago. Going to the grocery store is not a family activity. It's not. One parent goes, get in, get out. Because bringing children, look, if you have to do it because you're stuck, I get it. But if you have the choice, don't bring your children to a place where especially when you're trying to be efficient.
It's awful.
Right?
All right, my third one, and this might be another hot take, although I think probably not. Disney, any type of Disney activity, Disneyland, Disney World, it is awful.
Really?
Yeah.
Where does everyone
Not
go?
fun.
I haven't done it yet.
Every parent I've ever talked to that goes to Disney for their kids, and they go for more than one day, they need a vacation from their Disney vacation. I just wasn't a Disney family growing up. My wife loves it. Tries to get me. We're like an hour and a half from Anaheim. Tries to get me to go all the time. The lines, how hot it is. It's a concrete jungle. Like, I love Disney and it's cool. If we could go when it's like closed one day and we get like a cool tour, I'm in. But I'm telling you, you walk 6 miles, you're sweating, it's just not fun to me. Sorry.
No, I've always wondered that. I remember one of my good friends went, and I was texting him when he was there, like, "Hey man, you're doing what I dream of. I can't wait to get to that time." He's like, "No,
You dream of.
no,
Why don't you
it's
go?"
awful.
Yeah.
I can't.
Very expensive too. Very expensive.
Yes, I've heard that as well. All right, my last one, and I got this from our boss, Steven Ginsberg, because I wasn't sure if there was one I was missing, and I'd asked him, and he said, I kind of love this one, anything after 7 p.m. Just anything after 7 o'clock,
That's
right?
actually a good idea.
Because every kid loses their mind. Personally, my children, anything after 3, because that's our witching hour, between 3 and like 6 is just lunacy in this house. I don't know what demons take over them, but they just lose their minds. But definitely after 7 o'clock, it's just they'll pick up knives. They'll do anything that they need to do to avoid bedtime. But I think bottom line, no child under the age of 5 should be up past 7 o'clock. It's just they can't handle it. They can't do it. Their little bodies can't function.
Yeah, they need sleep.
Yeah,
Agreed. Good
They
one.
need sleep.
Good list.
Good list. All right. I hope you guys weigh in. If you're listening to this, make sure you tweet us. We'll put some posts up about this because I know that there's examples we're missing. And I will always be open to any advice or tips. So if you have any, thoughts on the stuff I listed that you think, what really works when you go to the grocery store, or here's how to keep them quiet in church, I will take all the advice I can possibly take. So thanks so much for hanging out with us here on Scoop City. Next episode, Mike Sando. We are ripping through the quarterback tiers. I can't wait to dive into it. We've been waiting all summer long. He spends almost the entire year working on this project. So this is a really big day for The Athletic. And of course, it's going to be a big day for us as we're going to be able to get Mike Sando on the show to take us inside how he came together with the tiers and to really just explain what he's hearing around the league. So we will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys. Tag me next time.
Thanks for tuning into Scoop City. If you want to hear more, make sure you like and subscribe. We drop our new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.